Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is my plant update and I do have some really interesting updates about my orchids, but we'll get to them last because I save the best for last. So we're going to start with my aloe plant. I do have an unfortunate update on it. I don't know if this guy is dying or not. I'm not exactly sure. The soil feels quite dry. So I'm just going to pour just a bit of distilled water that I have left. It should be gone by this week or next week. I'm going to see if I can bring it back or if I kind of screwed up here. So I filled it with some water and it should be okay, but I'm not exactly sure about this guy because the leaves where the aloe is feels quite flat. And if you cook every day or almost every day, like I do, you need an aloe plant in your kitchen. So now we're going to move on to my Christmas cactuses. And this one of my three seem to be doing quite well, actually. They're growing, and I don't know if you can tell, but this guy right here is growing a new one, which I'm really excited about. And I can't wait till it's time for them to bloom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put just a bit of water in here because they are still cactuses, so you want them to be kind of wet but not too wet. So just put a bit in there, which I love the soil I have, which is Miracle-Gro. What it does, it will water your plant as it needs. And I have it right here. It's moisture control, so it will give the plant the water as it needs it, which is very good if you don't want to overwater it at all. Here is my second Christmas cactus. I'm not too sure about this guy right now. I'm a little worried. But it seems to be doing quite well. It's green. It's growing some new ones on that one. This one is growing a new one there. So I think this guy's doing quite well right now. So as before, I'm going to give it a little bit of water so it can have some water to be moistened, but not drenched in water, which is why I love this soil. And the soil is quite dry, which you want it to be. So if you have any type of cactus, I would probably just water it once a week, depending on the soil. Because if it's this kind of soil, you just want to do it once a week because it will water the plant as it needs it. But this is like the soil I would recommend you get for any of your plants, except orchids. We don't do orchids in those. So here's my other Christmas cactus, and it's doing quite well. I'm really surprised at it right here. It has a new growth up here. It's like it's sprouting on that one. So it's doing quite nice. It's new growth right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very tiny. So again, I'm just going to put just a little bit of water in him. And that's going to be that for the Christmas cactuses. And then we'll get to my orchids, which I do have a few updates on. And this week is fertilizer week, which is very exciting. Before I get to that, I want to talk about my roses. They're supposed to start, I guess, sprouting roots between Sunday and the last Monday of the month. So far, I haven't seen anything. So I'm not too sure right now. So now we're going to get to my orchids. We're going to start with my big guy because not much has changed with this guy. Even though he's not big, I still call him the big guy because of how huge he was before. So here he is. The leaves are still firm, which gives me hope. This leaf keeps going in the water, so I'm not too sure how much longer this leaf will last. And what I like to do is every time I change the water or I fertilize them, I check on them every day. So I take him out and check the root system, especially for this guy because he's been losing roots like crazy. So what I do is I just feel And if it feels firm, it's a healthy root. And if it's mushy, it's a dead root. And all the roots are firm roots, which is a very good sign. If the leaves are firm and the roots are firm, it's a good sign that you have a healthy orchid, which is what you want. So if you do go shopping for orchids, that's what you're going to want to do is feel the roots, feel the leaves, make sure they're firm. But this guy, the leaves are turning yellow. I was concerned. I wasn't freaking out. I was concerned. So I did some research and I found out for Phalaenopsis orchids, it's totally normal. They get rid of the bottom leaves every year or so, from what I found out. So if you have yellow leaves on your Phalaenopsis orchid, I don't know if this guy would do it for me, but if you gently pull like that, the leaves should fall off by themselves. This one's starting to turn yellow, so this one's going to go too. But if you gently pull and it falls off by itself, you can do it. Don't force it to fall off because then you risk infections, which is what we don't want to do. So I'm just gently pulling, and this one's not falling off yet, but it might fall off in the next few days. So next week I might have one less leaf, or 3. We don't know. So on this guy, I'm also going to check his roots, which there are a little of right now. I'm just going to check the roots right now. And we're going to see. I don't know what this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a root or if it's going to be a stem. I'm not too sure about that. So there's that guy. I'm going to take this guy wants to be like, not listen to me today. So when I checked its roots a few hours, not a few hours, but like yesterday, it wanted to flop all over the table and not stay on the table. I did lower the water level on this one. That was the only one I lowered the water level. This one, not so much. This one's also, its leaf is also turning yellow, which is totally cool. And there it goes, just like that. I barely tugged it. So if you barely tug it like that and it falls off, it's good to go. So I'm just going to put it in the trash. So you never want to force the leaves off at all, or the blooms. What I like to do is I like to let them fall on their own for the blooms. The leaves, if you barely tug like I did with this guy, totally fine. So this guy has this one leaf left. I don't know if it's going to start turning yellow too or not. But I'm totally okay because see, I still have that new leaf growing, which is very exciting for me. So the way I put this guy in the water is going to change now. And I wasn't like freaking out when the leaves started to turn. I was more concerned than freaking out. So I'm going to go back to my Miracle Grow fertilizer, which is huge right now. And I'm going to find, there it is, my little spoon that I have here. So for my orchids, which I just have 3, so I don't go above about, about 2 cups. So for my orchids, I'm just using a 1/8 teaspoon here, which is perfect for my orchids. Because you're just supposed to use 1 spoon that gives you here for every gallon, and I'm not using a gallon, so what you want to do first, you want to put the water in. So this is the rest of my distilled water here. And yeah, that's the rest of it. And now I'm just going to add my fertilizer. I will still use this jug for the rainwater though. So just go in the bag like I did 2 weeks ago. And we're just going to pull it out like that. And just put it in the water and we're going to stir it with the measuring. With this little teaspoon. So you can see it in the bottom. Just going to put it all around. And then I'm just going to put it in these glasses right here. I'm going to move so you can see what I'm doing. So we got this glass. The water level on this one's going to stay the same because this one's a very hungry orchid. This one's going to stay the same where I have it. This one's been eating a lot as well. So right about there. And then the rest might not go in here. So I'm just going to up this one just a bit. I know people are going to get angry at me, but my first one is a very hungry orchid, so I'm not too worried. And the rest right there. There we go. So now we're going to do this guy first. Like I said, it's going to be a lot difficult to put him in now. So I'm just going to put him in kind of like I used to. Like that. I know one people were saying that the water level is too high. But trust me, this water will be gone by next week. Rest assured that. It's like every time I give this guy fertilizer, it's gone by next week. All the time. So we're going to put this guy in next. So we're just going to do them, like this. This one still has most of its leaves. I'm not too worried. Put him in like that. Most of that water will be gone by next week. And now for the final one, I'm going to put him in like that. And most of his water will be gone as well. So what I found out with my fertilizer that I use, all of this water will be mostly gone. This one will be completely gone. But the other two will be mostly gone by next week because they're hungry. And I know I'm going to get people saying that I have too much water in there, but not for my orchids. My Phalaenopsis, all three of them are very hungry right now. So the first one, the water will be completely gone. I know that. Because like a couple days before I do these videos, the water's gone on this one. And on these two, most of that's going to be gone. So I have no worries there. So I want to thank you for watching this week's plant update. You get to see all my plants except my roses because they're not growing yet. No concern about that. By next week, I'll do some research on my roses and see what's going on. And if I need to change anything, but I don't think I do. Because everything I read so far, you're just supposed to put them in a wet paper towel. Put some stuff so they don't get mold. And put them in the fridge for a while until they start sprouting roots, which I haven't done yet. And I check on them every few days to see how they're doing. And if I need to re-moisten that paper towel, which I haven't done, which is really good. So I'll have some more information on the roses next week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for my tutorial.